Hello everyone, welcome to Rockshire Gaming. My name is Eric. Today is finally the day. CMON, finally on April the 5th, today as I'm recording this, has launched their newest entry into their fantasy Zombicide series called White Death. It is their snowy landscape setting, that's the word I was going for, in the city of Wintergrad. So we're going to take a look at some various numbers in this video, kind of comparing it to the previous two Zombicide fantasy games, taking a look at what was announced today, what is actually in the Kickstarter itself, what is actually in the box, and taking a look at the various stretch goals and other things that were announced. Let's go ahead and cut over to that angle and see what this game is about. All right, as you can see, here is the box for Zombicide White Death. We've already shown it on the channel, but this is the current standing of where the campaign is at 10:49 Eastern Standard Time. It started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we are still technically in the first. This is the first day of the campaign that we're going to be putting on here, so it is going to say day 1 on the thumbnail. But this is still within the first 24 hours. We're actually started at, 3 o'clock today Eastern, so 3 to 12. I mean, it's only 9 hours, so we're only literally 9 hours into the campaign at this point. So, like I said, here is Zombicide White Death there. Let's go ahead and scroll a little bit. So right now we are at 809 dollars on a goal of 200,000, so that's good right there. We are at 7,494 backers with 20 days to go, and the numbers keep shooting up. We are at the moment, I don't think we're going to hit it during this video. We're at the moment, we are still about $20,000 or so from the next goal, so I'm not worried about them hitting it while we are filming or anything like that. Like with the Marvel United, especially the end of Marvel United, when the last time we did this, there were some nights where I was just, let's go ahead and wait it out and kind of ramble a little bit to see if we hit a goal. We're not hitting a goal while I'm filming this. So let's go ahead and scroll down here. As you can see, back this project, I have yet to back it already. Usually I'd wait till the very last minute. I don't know why, but here is the story, and here is a little bit of the setup. It is a game for 1 to 6 players. It's going to take an hour to play each scenario, probably not, and to fight zombies in the frozen wastes, you have to be 14 and up. So it says the long-awaited sequel to Zombicide Black Plague and Green Horde has finally arrived. Zombicide White Death is taking the medieval fantasy setting out into the cold, to the icy lands of a city known as Wintergrad. In addition to the new environment, zombies, and survivors, this new installment also brings updated rules and new thrilling mechanics that will send a chill up your spine. Now, there's going to be a graphic here that is going to kind of go over the various rules and whatnot, or new things. Winter is upon us, and it's dark and cruel. Might really, whatever. Zombicide Medieval Fantasy is back with new survivors, new zombies, new settings, and new rules. So it's going to talk about scaling the Great Walls to your advantage. So it's going to talk about that wall mechanic that we've seen in preview art. And I know so far they're going to mention it lower down here, but Quackalope's done a few preview video and at least one gameplay video so far. So if you want to see what stuff looks like through that and kind of how the game plays, you can go check those out, or not, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But yeah, they're gonna have some stuff on their channel. They're the only ones so far that I see that actually have stuff on their channel. But anyway, so scale the walls is right there. Arm yourself to the teeth. Command a something, I can't read that, retinue, something, sure, of guards to push back against the zombie horde and use unique survivor skills to bolster their abilities. So again, so we're talking about the wall up here, dumping cauldrons and that kind of stuff here. We're talking about the guards here that we already know about, where we can send commands to the guards while we are with that extra blue skill that's going to be on the various cards with that. Melee attacks from a distance, so they are going to be advertising here the new pole arms and pole arm weapons. So you get the halberd and the lance right there. So they are advertising that as a main new feature. Freeze zombies. So the was it Void Retro, whatever, I don't know how to actually say it, but that ability from Undead or Alive looks like it's coming in here to Fantasy with the Frost mechanic. Mine the Ruin Zones. So they're talking about the new Ruin Zones that we've already covered in past videos. And Stop the Corruption, which is going to be that new Defiler Necromancer. So that is in here as well. So this is basically this little graphic right here from here to here basically covers for me 3 videos worth of content that I've already done. So this is basically everything I've already covered. If you want to go check out those videos and see my opinions on there and me completely guess what a Necromancer and Abomination deck do wrong, go watch those videos. It'll be great. Says this is only the tip of the iceberg. So the Frozen Fortress Pledge. So this is going to be $110 for the Frozen Fortress Pledge, which at this point is the only pledge on here. Looking back at the other two Zombicide fantasy lines, I have not compared this, and there's no way I'm going to have time to necessarily. But they comparing this with the other two fantasy games, granted they came out 6 and 8 years ago. Black Plague had a pledge level that was just the main game, and I think they had another pledge level that was the main game plus the one expansion. And for Green Horde, there was no additional pledge level, at least on the Kickstarter page. There was no additional pledge level for that campaign. It was just the Green Horde box, and everything else was an add-on. Other games since then, even in the Zombicide line, have had other pledge levels. I'm pretty sure Undead or Alive had a few different ones with the main pledge and adding in the steampunk stuff, and then the all-in pledge. Marvel Zombies had 5 different pledge levels when they were done. You had the main pledge, I think a pledge for the main game with X-Men Resistance main game. You had one with those two things with the Galactus miniature. Then you had an all-in without the Galactus. Then you had an all-in with Galactus that had a little bit more all-in. So they do change their stuff up and have evolved how they advertise their campaigns since these other fantasy games were out. But right now they are only showing this one pledge level at $110. So right now at $110, you are going to be getting the main game. We're going to be showing that and all the stretch goals and some other stuff, and we'll get to that in a minute. So this game is going to have the 6 survivors. We got, which we've already seen 5 of them: Ogon, Yasuki, what's it say? Sarnai, Dragomir, Lorna, and Gina. Genia. She, I don't think we've actually seen in anything. She wasn't in any of the other videos. She basically kind of just showed up in the Kickstarter page. So there is that. So next we're gonna have the 12 guards with 3 guard sculpts, 4 copies of each sculpt. Then we're gonna have 35 walkers. Looks like 7 style of walkers with 5 of each sculpt. We're gonna have 14 different runners, 7 and 7, 14 brutes, no longer fatties, 7 and 7, 1 con abomination, and 1 they don't just call it necromancer, but it's that defiler necromancer. That is what we're going to have on there. Then with components, we're going to have the 6 ID cards, 56 zombie cards, 1 reference card, looks like for the guards. I'm honestly trying to realize I need glasses. I got the screen over here. When I shrank it down to fit here on this screen, I realize I can't read half of it now. So there's that. It's having you get into 40s. 15 corruption tokens, and we got all these other tokens: 1 beacon token, 1 first player token, 1 exit token, 18 noise tokens, 2 ladder tokens, 4 cauldron tokens, 11 objective tokens, 6 freeze tokens, 1 defiler spawn zone token, and 4 zombie spawn zone tokens. So one of the things I don't see in here, and I do notice that it is missing from the Black Plague is that one had multiple different spawn zones for potentially for the necromancers, meaning they can spawn in different places, I guess, and if they escape, they flipped over to a regular zombie token and kind of screwed with you. So this one only comes with the one Defiler spawn token, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, and an exit token there. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. We're going to have 48 plastic pegs, 6 dashboards, 6 regular dice, 6 colored bases, 9 double-sided tiles, all applicable stretch goals. And then we already talked about this, but the Lacuna Coil limited edition survivors. So that is going to be that. They don't show anywhere on the page yet the models for the Lacuna Coil stuff. I'm sure they will do it in an update probably within the next couple days or so. So that is that. And then we got the rule book. Please be aware that this is a work in progress rule book. It's not final rules. So you can click on that. I'm not going to right now because I don't have time. But there's going to be the rule book right there, and then those gameplay videos, the preview video and the gameplay video from Quackaloop right there. So that is everything that is from the main campaign. The next thing we're going to look at here in a second is going to be the stretch goals. So we're going to start looking at the stretch goals, and the first stretch goal we're going to look at is going to be right here with Let It Snow. Hey, survivors, our journey to the frozen land has barely begun. It's already funded. Under 20 minutes. I was actually keeping track of this. I was working today, but I actually took my lunch right when the campaign started, and it was 18 minutes from the time the campaign started around 3 o'clock until it was 3:18 when the campaign actually funded. I actually saw the funding take over to $201,000 dollars, because they like to have that $1,000 bumper right there. So so the first thing they put in there as a stretch goal, which was basically the stretch goal that they basically was like, if we hit the funding goal, here's the stretch goal kind of thing. But they are doing update packs, so they're doing 16 cards from the previous core boxes and retail expansions, and then 28 cards from exclusive promos. These are allowing you to put all of your season 1 and season 2 zombies into, or abominations, and make them fit with how they're going to be doing those necromancer decks and abomination decks in White Death. So I thought that was pretty cool. I do find it odd that we're getting just all of those cards right away. Now, the thing is with these cards, and I was thinking about this later, and I'm kind of curious. So this is 16, 28 cards, so that's 4 carry the 1, 44 cards somewhere in there that we are now getting as a stretch goal. So these are all cards that go into an abomination deck. So basically, can I just use these cards with the abomination that comes with the game and just use that card and just use proxy in the abomination into the game? I can only have one abomination out at a time. So that would be pretty interesting. Like, basically, it's like, yeah, you can't use, I mean, if you don't have the miniature, that's one thing, you don't have the miniature, but if I can still just use the card without having to have the miniature on the board, I can just proxy in whatever. I got enough D&D monsters that I can make something work. So that would be pretty cool if that is the case. But as we scroll down outside of those previews, let's see, the Necromancer and Abomination cards form 2 separate decks placed near the board. Players can tailor their decks depending on what Abominations and Necromancers they wish to see spawn in their Zombicide game. This allows players to add diversity to the game and yet maintain the balance of the zombie deck. When an Abomination Necromancer would spawn, a card is drawn from their respective decks. The card shows what will spawn on the board. And then let's go. Here is the full list. Now, it's one of the things that came up during this, and I saw this list. I read through this list, and I know for a fact, 99% of a fact, that because I was almost going to purchase it today from Amazon, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in the updated cards for retail content section that the Mumra, Abomination, and Necromancer from the Thundercats pack 3 were on this list. I think the CMON comics characters are also not on this list because I guess the backs of the cards are on already match this, or they were I think they said in the comment in the comment section that they were however they were being made, they were already going to be made to be put into this game. So that was pretty cool. But I do remember Mumra being in there, and I know people have asked in the comment section, and no one has responded to them about it, or it hasn't been said. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm pretty sure Mumra, both versions of him, are in the were in here. I just don't know where they are right now. But this is all the characters for that. I'm keeping it on the screen a little bit so you guys can read it if you want to, or you can just go to the update and look at it. That's what you can do. And with the funding goal behind us, it's time to check out what lies in wait. Our first stretch goal is an exemplary general who endured many hardships to become what he is today. So the first character in here is Hung Gai. He is his Hungai's life of hardship prepared him well for a life of combat. His brutish strength allows him to decimate foes with little effort. Does not swing his weapon, but blindly each swing of his weapon leads into the other artfully, allowing him to string multiple power attacks into deadly combos. So two things. One, I'm not going to read all the flavor text here, because we would be here all night doing that, and I try to keep this, as far as filming goes, down below an hour, depending on the amount of updates that we get. And with this being day one, there's a lot of updates to cover, so I'm not going to read the flavor text on the page here. One of the things I am going to take a look at here is try to so I know a lot of these past games have a lot of cultural references, more of depending on the setting, they're going to have a lot of either cultural references, local mythology references to wherever the setting is, as well as just throwing in pop culture references. Undead or Alive had a lot of like Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Clint Eastwood was in there, Django was in there, Marty McFly and Doc Brown from Back to the Future were in there when they were talking about the stretch goals. So they like to make a lot of references, CMON does, to in their games to pop culture. This one's going very historical. So this first character, if you're looking at it and me looking up stuff, Hungai was a general in the Eastern Han Dynasty under Sun Quan. So that's where that's coming from. So he was an actual general around, I think, 280, 180 to 280, somewhere in there. So I think that was pretty cool. Doing research for this video, I realized there was a lot of history to this. One of the things I also want to point out, and a lot of people have been pointing out in the comments, is that we're in a frozen wasteland right now. This is a frozen land decimated by zombies, but frozen nonetheless, talking about ice mechanics and all this. And for some reason, the majority of the stretch goal characters, ironically, all the animal ones that we will see, and there are a few animal characters that were in stretch goals, are all fully clothed, whereas a majority, I feel like, of the human characters are all not dressed appropriately for the winter wonderland that we're all going to be fighting in. So that's just my little take on that. There's the sculpt of the character right there. So I just find it funny that that's what we're doing here. So that's update number 1, essentially. Is that update number 1? Are we calling that update number 1? Update number 1, yeah. So that is update number 1, Let It Snow. So we're getting a whole bunch of zombie cards and our first character right after that. Very quickly after that, there's no time for monkeying around. We get our next character, which is Mealy. As far as I know, no historical reference here, but we have Mealy. She is a Coquin. I'm going to say this right now before I get in trouble. I am going to butcher every name that comes up on a stretch goal for the next 3 weeks. Just warning you, I do these videos day 1. I do these videos Friday if they do a live stream, and then if there is a major expansion, which we haven't had any expansions yet, so there's probably at least 2, I would say, over the course of this campaign. I will probably do videos on there, and then any other big event. So for however many videos that ends up being over the next 21 days, I am going to butcher at least 80% of the characters' names. Please don't come at me with that. Anyway, so yeah, Kakwan, Cakewon, Sakwon, no idea. Melee easily escapes her foe's grasp with her simian agility. This agility also enables her to fire arrows in quick succession, thinning the undead horde with a relentless barrage of arrows should she get cornered. Melee is one of the rare marksmen to have learned how to use her bow in close quarters, a trait that often catches her foes by surprise. So there is that. There is her sculpt right there. So another pretty awesome character. And we're going to get into at the end when we go through all these updates. We're going to go over funding goals and other stuff. So there is that. So next update is the undeniable symbol of bravery. So we unlocked her at 260k, and then we get LapuLapu. LapuLapu right here. I am assuming he is the chief of the Mactan in the Visayas Islands in the Philippines. That's what I wrote down when I did my research, and the picture on Wikipedia looks exactly like this guy down to the headband. So I am assuming that is where this is coming from. So says some people can never be conquered. So after years of experience in combat, this great hero understands the ebb and flow of warfare and controls it to his advantage. He is able to push enemies back, lure them into an ambush, and hinder their movements while his allies finish them off with LapuLapu. While LapuLapu may not be as proficient as other survivors in direct engagement, he is more than capable of altering the flow of combat in his favor. So that is going to be some pretty cool stuff right there. Maybe doing some crowd control. We talked about controlling the ebb and flow, be able to push his enemy back. So don't know if that means he is going to be a spellcaster, but he's possibly at least going to have maybe some area control. We'll see in a year and a half. There is that. So next update, kind of running through these. Update number 4, from the murky depths it comes. We unlocked LapuLapu at 29k, and this is going to be our first abomination. We are going to have the Chimi Memorial. This is a Chinese mountain monster, from what I can gather online. These spirits that live in fetid swamps, festing on the dead that somehow find their way there, but now with the necromantic curse, they hunger for living flesh, no longer content with scraps. This abomination pursues its victims relentlessly, and somehow it keeps coming back no matter how many times it is cut down. Someone or something seems to be keeping it around, and it is best if you dispatch it before it dispatches you. So it almost sounds like, and they actually have the scale of them here, and most of the abominations, they have the scale of them so far right there. But it sounds like from that description that this monster may have some kind of regeneration ability, that there might be something else you may have to do in order to actually take it out. Because like I said, it's pursues relentlessly, and somehow it keeps coming back no matter how many times it's cut down. So it almost looks like it has a respawn, a recharge, something that's going to allow it to keep coming at you no matter what you do as the survivor. So that'll be kind of interesting to see. Next, we have update number 5. Big Sister is watching you. So our first abomination is down. So then we get right here for 50k. Da Quayo. She was a let's see. Apparently her and her sister were somebody that Tao Tao wanted both of the sisters, and from what I read online, he wanted to go to war for both of them, kind of almost like a Hell of Troy type thing, I guess. I did most of this research, like I said, about an hour prior to filming this, so if you want to honestly, I mean, we're how many minutes are we into this? 26 minutes recording in this. If you're still here, thank you. But if you do want to comment down below with a little bit more on some of these various characters, and who these historical figures were, that'd be great. Put it down in the comments. We can give everybody who watches this a history lesson. I'm all for it, actually, because like I said, some of the stuff I was actually getting pretty intrigued into, and I was actually getting a little bit lost in some of it. Especially because seeing some of the names and everything, I kind of get lost at who was who in there. Some of the names, doing some research, looked very similar, like the other people around those characters. So I say characters like they're not real people, but so anyway, due to protective nature, Da Kaio is able to fend off lesser zombies with great ease, making her the ideal survivor to hold off hordes of zombies while her allies prepare to decimate them. Her skills don't rely on defense, though. She is also proficient in combat and that will lead the charge to push back the undead menace. So it looks like another, again, maybe a spellcaster, crowd controller kind of thing. So we'll stay frosty is their slogan for this one. That's great. So there is that. Our next update, number 6 for the people to the very end. So they raised 350k right there. Next stretch goal was for Zaiho Yon. Sure. So at 380k, they will unlock that survivor. He's a highly mobile archer, so a ranged character that prefers to use positioning to his advantage instead of simply relying on his skills with a bow. He is no slouch with the bow either. Can easily pierce, and yes, I am skipping names when I can, pierce armor with his arrows and can hit his foes as accurately as any other marksman. Foes should make sure to take cover when facing him, as few would make it out alive from his relentless assault. There is his miniature right there, and he is also talking about Tao Tao before, he is one of his generals, so that's where that came from. Again, another historical figure. Also, a lot of these characters are going to be in was it Romance of the Three Kingdoms, the was it the novel for that, and most likely the video games that have been going on. I think there's 14 of them now. So that is something else that you will see these characters from. Possibly some of the models are taken from the game more than likely than any of the historical drawings that were made of these characters. So so there is that. So that is going to be update number 6, and we have, I think, 9 more. Update number 7, the savior of her clan. We are going to, at 410k, which we got, we're going to have Medea Matsu. Medea Matsu, who Medea Matsu was looks like a 16th century noble from the spreadsheet I created for Marvel United, and I'm creating one currently. I've only done the day 1 stuff on it, but I'm also trying to put where I can the historical references for at least this campaign. I'm not doing it for the other 3 campaigns because I don't care about the other 2 campaigns. I don't care about that, but for this one, I'm trying because of the fact that it's not like Marvel where I know those characters inside and out, except for a few in Multiverse. But I am trying to make sure it's not just me like butchering a name, kind of reading it off and being like, and now we're going to go to the next thing. So trying to give a little bit of the historical, trying to figure out what the actual, like, where they're getting some of these characters from. So it's like, it's pretty fun, pretty amazing. So her proficiencies in both the literary and martial arts means that she is equally competent with a sword and manipulating the arcane energies around her. So she's going to be a melee spellcaster, it looks like. Medea Matsu's years of academic rigor ensures that she has a vast array of spells ready at her disposal. This combined with her ruthless efficiency with the sword allows her to cut down hordes of zombies while supporting her allies with her magic. And there is her character figure right there. Stay frosty. So we're going to go to update number 8. It's power overwhelming plus daily unlocks start tomorrow. So that's one of the things I didn't scroll down on the page, on the main page to show. So far, just to give context, with the exception of the card pack, so far it's been 3 survivors, Abomination, 3 survivors, Abomination, 3 survivors, Abomination, so on and so forth, up to the current number of goals that we have at the moment. So that's the pattern we're kind of going off. You kind of start noticing a pattern. So far, it's been 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. just between survivors and abominations. So we're getting a lot of abominations so far, but we haven't gotten any other stuff. So it's power overwhelming, and plus daily unlocks start tomorrow. So we got the matriarch of the Mada clan is ready to bring her force against the undead. So it talks about in here daily unlock. So this is something that, again, I don't think they did in the other two campaigns. I know they did it in Undead or Alive. I know they did it in Marvel Zombies. They apparently did it in Animation Collection, some other games. So on top of the stretch goals that we are unlocking, they are also going to do a daily unlock. So there's going to be at least one thing unlocked, it looks like, starting tomorrow at noon. So at the 21-hour mark for day one, I guess, they are going to do a daily unlock. The only way to tell, okay, so the blizzard in Zombie Siege has been relenting, yet we still find the odd visitor appearing at our doorstep from day to day, sometimes friend, other times foe. The only way to tell is to very carefully unlock the gates and deal with whatever comes knocking, starting noon tomorrow, continuing every day of the campaign, noon Eastern time. We will unlock the doors to reveal who they might be. These unlocks are free Kickstarter exclusive content that will be given away to all backers on top of the stretch goals. It looks like tomorrow's visitor is already outside, hoping to enter, and it says a faint rasping sound and the smell of blood are emanating from beyond the gates. So there is that. They're going to give little clues as to who it could be. You can pay attention to the Kickstarter comments. They might guess who it is and give you hope if it's something that you like. But so far that we don't have a daily unlock, but that's going to be tomorrow at noon, or if you're more than likely watching this, it's today at noon. Because yeah, once I finish this video and finish editing it, you guys will probably see it. It'll definitely be the 6th when you guys see this. Anyway, so we're going to scroll. There's day one, and the new stretch goal is Asura. Asura, these power-hungry titans seek only one thing in undeath, carnage. The necromantic power now coursing through them spurs their desire for war to the extreme, and they crush mortals with ease. Their bodies have also been made extremely resilient because of this, and it is almost impossible for the survivors to take them down by themselves. You would need something a lot bigger than a sword to take down one of these titans. So it's probably going to be talking about like vault weapons and that kind of thing to take down these abominations. The Asura are also, I have the note written down here that they are Indian superhuman demigods. So, Asian Pacific, from actual India, not Native American Indians or Native Americans, but from India. This is going to be like a titan. They refer to it online as Titan, as a demigod of some sort. So that is what this is going to be. So we're getting a little bit of. So far, we're getting a little bit of all the stretch goals. We're getting a lot of Chinese culture. We're getting a few stretch goals so far of things from Indian culture, and then we're also getting some stuff from Japanese culture as well as in Filipino culture as well. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there coming out of that Asian Pacific region for this game. Didn't realize also that CMON primarily has a lot of their offices in various parts of Asia, so it's pretty cool that they can actually basically work on a game now that is taking place from where probably a lot of the employees are from. So that's pretty cool, a little aspect of that. So there are the various models of the Asura, as well as how it compares to the character here. I can't remember which character this is. I apologize. So continue to stay frosty. So next we are going to do update 9, bearing the brunt of the attack. So yes, we're getting a bear. So at 470k, we are going to get Artemis. Let's see. A shield is also a weapon. Just know when to block and when to strike. Artemis excels at standing at the forefront of the party, so probably a tank character, taking hits and dishing them out as well, like all Arns. Artemis' hide is extremely tough and is easily and it easily shrugs off most damage her foes might inflict on her. Combined with her barbaric strength, she could easily split armored foes with any weapon she chooses to wield. So she probably, maybe for a blue skill, probably a yellow skill, is going to have like a +1 melee or something like that. So that will be pretty cool. Oh, and actually, they hit the stretch goal while they were doing the last one. That's what it was. I knew there was something weird with that. Let's see. Apparently, Asura's power is so strong that we went through a technical issue because they were having technical issues. It is time to take a look, or it's time, and the time it took to fix that, we unlocked the stretch goal that had followed it. So they unlocked that stretch goal, and then, let's see, they got Marquet of Mao. There it is. It doesn't feel right to use my, let's say, learning for war, yet we're well past the point of last resort. You would think I knew how to read already at this point. Though he might have been reluctant to use his fighting prowess at war, he will not hesitate to charge into the horde and cut down any zombies that stand in his way. His determination and willpower to emerge victorious instill confidence among the guards in battle. So this character here is going to have some armed blades. I don't know historically what this character is supposed to be. He reminds me of Vega from Star Wars, Street Fighter, with the hand blades, although Vega only has one blade, I believe, at least in the early games when I remember playing. But for some reason, I don't know, that's what shot at me with that. Again, probably something from Three Kingdoms that I'm not knowing because I didn't play those games or know much about that, but there you go with that update. So a lot of stuff in that update. We are getting close to past the middle. Building an empire, one administration at a time. Let's see. Our next stretch goal is one of the most powerful emperors of one of the longest ruling dynasties in history. No, that is not Namor the Submariner. That is Raya Chola. Raha. No clue. We're gonna Chola. We'll go with Chola at the end there, including his figure and ID card at 530k. He is a natural born leader, allowing him to take charge and direct other survivors in the heat of combat. He is a fearsome warrior that excels in melee combat. Once his lesser battle takes him over, there's little he can do to stop his rampage. So again, another melee combatant. He apparently was king of a good chunk of southern India at one point. I didn't write down the dates or the century or anything like that, but yeah, when it talks about the fact that he was a natural born leader, apparently guy was a king. So there's that. So that would be pretty cool. There, even some various pictures I found online show him wearing very similar garbs. That was actually pretty cool. They're definitely taking from historical sources and whatnot to try to make sure some of these pictures are pretty accurate. Although one of them, I think, was Medea Matsu. The picture I saw looked like an old lady and not what we saw in this picture. So, but again, I just want to point out, everyone should be freezing cold in this winter wonderland. I know India is not going to be freezing, but yeah, like most of the human characters are very, very shirtless and wearing next to nothing. So I don't know how they're gonna not suffer from hypothermia in the frozen wastes, but we'll see. Next, it's a new dawn for the undead. So this is going to be our next abomination. This is going to be the Amaterasu. So there is the Amaterasu. That is a Japanese sun goddess, is where I'm getting that from Japanese culture. At 560k, and we will lock all backers the exclusive abomination Amaterasu, including its figure and card. Its Avatarma almost burns as brightly as the sun itself, radiating distracting beams across the battlefield. The intense light that emanates from her makes it impossible to aim range attacks further than the adjacent areas. So adjacent areas, that means that you're going to have a range no matter what weapon you have, range weapon you have. You're going to be firing at a 0 or 1 against it, maybe farther than the adjacent area. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to shoot it with a range 2. You'd have to do it at range 0 or 1. So however, this worthy survivor who managed to eradicate this abomination obtains a blessing from the goddess. So whoever does take out this character is going to get some kind of a boon. It looks like from that. So that is pretty cool. And let's go with the comparisons right there. This, for some reason, is giving me some Massive Darkness 2 vibes. It's just another game on the list. I need to do a video at some point on what are the games that I regret not buying from Kickstarter. I think on my Kickstarter list it says I have bought, I've pledged to like 30 something games, but the amount of games I saved on Kickstarter with the hopes of buying is like 90 something. So I don't have a shortage of games that I did not buy. So there is that. So next update is going to be update number 12, a writer of her own destiny. This next stretch goal is Uesagi Aya. It looks like she's going to be some kind of a spellcaster there with her book of spells, her book of magic there. Aya was spent her life studying magic, and it has given her an encyclopedic knowledge of the spells available to her. Furthermore, her years of experience with the arcane allows her to cast the spells much more efficiently, firing them off in rapid succession and with a much greater potency. She again was lived in the late 16th centuries into the 17th century, and I just have noted on here that she was a noblewoman. So there is that for you right there. So again, another historical figure. I want to I don't want to say what country because I don't remember and I don't want to guess. And yeah, there's that. So there is her sculpt again by Big Child Creatives. Still Stay Frosty. Thankfully she's a little bit more clothed than everybody else wearing that robe, so hopefully she'll be able to stay a little bit warm in that. So next update, number 13, Anonymous Living Among the Undead. We're gonna have here Zuchu. I don't know how in Chinese Asian culture the X is pronounced. I probably should have looked that up. So we unlocked him at 620k. Being a man of such immense strength and bulk allows him to push aside foes with great ease, clearing the path for his allies. So I don't know if there is a push ability in fantasy, but it looks like he might get one, allowing for that more, again, crowd control because there's going to be a lot of, in this game, pushing through the zombie hordes, trying to get to objectives, trying to get to the Defiler Necromancer and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But let's see. His strength is especially useful when he has a melee weapon in hand, since he can swing it with such force that it cleaves even the more opposing zombie clean in half. So yeah, there is going to be his miniature right there. So yeah, stay frosty. I don't know why I like that catchphrase this time. Let's see. Did someone crow wolf? Nope, we didn't. No, this is still another survivor. So we unlocked that character at 620k, and coming up next is a sorceress who shows no mercy to those who dare wrong her. We've got Serena Black Mantle. So magic requires a keen ear and an open mind, but little else. So again, there is her stuff. She is one of the Kenshin characters, so her desire for vengeance led her to the study of elemental magic. Her natural talent made it easy to channel the elements around her and use them in her spellcasting to decimate her foes. And now the Horde, with a little luck and a ton of magic, she'd definitely be able to make it through this plague alive. So there is Serena. Not sure what historical figure she's supposed to be, seeing as she's a wolf. I don't know if nothing came up when I did any kind of search, but again, if she's a fictional character already, or based off a fictional character already, it's not gonna come up. So put down in the comments who the bear and the wolf and any other animal character that I have basically skipped over. Let me know who they are supposed to be in the comments below. But yeah, that is going to be that character. Again, another spellcaster. I thought there was something about, yeah, channeling elements. So she's probably going to have something again to do with the freeze mechanic that's in the game. So there is that right there. We are on update number 15. As you see, there are 16 updates. We were on update number 15. Time to make some noise. This is going to be another, I believe, another abomination. Yep. Nyan. Not the cat. The Nyan is a fearsome beast who preys on the unsuspecting. While it may look like a formidable beast, secret weakness. Shh, be quiet about the secret weakness. Is its sensitive ears. Loud noises startle it, causing it to lower its guard. To defeat it, cause a huge ruckus. First is your best bet. So this one's going to make a lot of noise, but if you make a lot of noise, you're going to get all the abominations and the zombies and everything else coming after you. Not the other abominations. This is going to be the only other abomination. Brutes. And walkers and runners are going to be the main thing coming after you here. So while you're trying to take out this thing, making a bunch of noise, you're going to have everything else coming after you. So there is that. There is the figure for it. Figure for it there. Excuse me. And it's 11:30 at night. And then the scale of the figure, not the biggest one, takes up a big base, but not the biggest character. And then finally, I think, I was already scrolled down. Finally, update number 16. Hail survivors. Looks like Nan's yearly hunt has arrived. Better run for cover. So we unlocked that at 680, and our next stretch goal at 710 is going to be Dine. I can't read it. Dine Win. I don't know. That looks like an IVIE, not a W. Dine Win. Y. Dine Y. Including his figure and ID card. Dine Y. Yeah. So they served as a general to a well-known warlord for many years. The warlord. I don't know which warlord it is. I want to say it's Tao Tao again. Tao Tao. I'd have to go back and actually look it up. But brandishing his weapons, this fearsome warrior charges headlong into combat confidently. His mastery of weapons shows through the ferocious swings of his axe. His onslaught of attacks escalate in ferocity. That's where I got it from. With every consecutive strike. There is his figure right there. I do know when I was reading through some things on this character that he liked to use halberds, and he was actually known for carrying very large halberds. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Who's again another Three Kingdoms character, as well as Zuchu. I guess that's how you say it. But yeah, at the moment, let's go back to the main page, actually. Let's go scroll. I'm gonna hit refresh. Let's hit refresh. Oop, and there we go. So yeah, 697065. That is the current funding. At this exact moment, 7,610 backers, those are his subscribers. But backers, so that is where we are at right now. So we are going to go over a couple of things. Maybe we'll hit the goal. Well, I'll keep an eye on it over here on your screen, because I've put something over it on my side. But yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at some other things. So one of the things I like to do, if you're new to this and you didn't watch the Marvel United videos, I like to compare this to previous campaigns if I can. Just from a money standpoint, just from a figure count standpoint, that kind of thing. So on day one closing of Black Plague, let's go with that. There's a lot more figures, total figures, that were unlocked in both Black Plague and Green Horde. Not by much with Green Horde, ironically. Money-wise, crazy, but fun figure-wise, it wasn't by that much. Now, one of the things I noticed looking at this campaign compared to Black Plague and Green Horde is that there were a lot of stretch goals with Black Plague and Green Horde that were additional runners, fatties, or brutes, whichever one you call them, whichever one you want to call them. They call them brutes now, but what were fatties? So additional walkers, runners, brutes, um, in some cases necromancers, not even counting like the special ones, but like for example in Black Plague, we the first stretch goal for that was campaign a campaign in a map editor, and then there was 5 more walkers, which we got the same thing in Green Horde, and then there at some point there were 6 more fatties, which they also got in Green Horde. And they started doing this whole like 4 NPC zombies, and there's a couple instances on my list of here of multiple NPC zombies. There were different zombies that had different sculpts. I don't know because I don't have it whether or not they were also different, had different abilities other than the regular zombies that they were from. So there was that. I got 3 more wolves, 1 more necromancer, not even like a different necromancer, just said 1 more necromancer, 1 more abomination, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of that going on in the first campaign and going to the second campaign. The first campaign at this point unlocked 26 stretch goals. That's counting the fact that extra walkers, fatty zombies, let's see, 5, 9, 13, 17, 20, 1, 2, 6, 30, 31, I guess, different characters, if I did that math right. Yeah, 31 different, like more of something or NPC of something, like NPC zombies or more of something zombies. So 31 number right there. And then the same for Green Horde. We got an extra necromancer, former runner, so 5, 10 with walkers. So at this point there was like 15 just extra stuff at that point. So 31 compared to 15. So there's that. We don't have in this one yet a list of extra this, extra that. It looks like instead, kind of like they started doing with Green Horde, they are basically, and I think they did a lot of it in Undead or Alive. I did follow that campaign a lot, and I don't remember where they were with that. But they did have, and they do have a lot of, in this one, we've got 4 just unique, especially because of the way they're doing that deck now. We've got 4 completely unique abominations to go with the Khan abomination, who himself has an ability this time of the fact that he can scale through the walls. I don't know if the other abominations are going to be able to scale through the walls. I don't know if that's a universal trait that the abominations have. So at this point, going by just the numbers of abominations to survivors to necromancers, not counting all the extra ones, just because I honestly don't know how those fully work. I'm not counting like all the extra stuff, counting like it's a named something. But at this point, survivor wise, this campaign has 13 survivors. 13 survivors. Let me make sure I didn't change something. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Yes. So we have 13 survivors in this one. Black Plague at this point also had 13 survivors, and Green Horde at this point had 12 survivors. Abominations, right now we have 4 named abominations. Green Horde had 3 abominations on day 1. Black Plague did not have any named abominations. And then Green Horde at this point had 2 named necromancers. At this point, we don't have any named necromancers or any necromancers in the game. So again, comparing stretch goals right now, when you're adding in all of those extras, the extra walkers, extra runners, all that stuff, Black Plague had 26 total stretch goals unlocked at this point. Green Horde had 21 unlocked at this point. We are currently sitting at 18, and unless something changes, I keep looking over at it, unless something changes in the next, where are we at? Time, there it is. 18 minutes. I don't think we're gonna, before the day is over, the physical day is over, I don't think we're gonna hit that number. So yeah, we're gonna be stuck at 18. So we are behind right now compared to both other campaigns as far as goal wise. As far as money wise, the first campaign at this point, when it hit stretch goal number 23, it had the stretch goal amount was for passing season 1 of regular Zombicide. At the 26th goal, they had raised over $885,000. The Green Horde campaign had at this point raised $1,250,000. This campaign at this point is just under 700,000. So the stretch goal that we hit was at 680. So yeah, actually, that's an interesting statistic because it's one of those statistics that I brought up during Marvel United, that we were constantly passing Marvel United's goals, not hitting the X-Men goals. X-Men was a weird beast. Um, but yeah, as far as money wise goes, day one, as far as stretch goal wise, day one, because even when I said that it took 18 minutes to hit the funding goal, I actually thought that was a little slow for some reason. Maybe not. I because I have no idea when these other two funded as far as time goes. But if I'm looking at the stretch goals right, and I'm going to review this over the next couple of days. If I'm looking at the stretch goal prices and everything right, we are on this one making our funding less than the other ones did. We got less goals out. We've got less funding overall. So I don't know if it's the theme. I don't know if it's the changes to the system or whatnot. If people were more thinking it was going to be like more Game of Thrones references, I guess. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, so far this campaign is trailing a little bit. Now, I know people from the comments were thinking that there's a lot more original characters. I think almost every character I have in here was some kind of historical figure from what I can tell, which is actually pretty cool. But yeah, like right now the campaign is kind of not faltering, but it's kind of slowed down compared to the other ones. Not by not by too much. Yeah, it's I mean, not saying it's not a successful campaign. They've already hit their funding goal, but it is starting out a little bit slower. We'll see how those and that could also be a reason why they're doing the dailies. But we'll see how the daily unlocks look. We'll see how everything looks going into tomorrow. Like I said, my next video on this is probably, in all honesty, it's going to be Saturday. It might even be Saturday morning when I film it. It may not be Saturday night, or it may not be Friday night when I film it, because most likely, they haven't announced it yet, but most likely they're probably going to do a Friday recap. Again, we're an hour in. If you're still here, God bless you. But they're probably going to do a Friday recap on Friday afternoon. Usually they do it around 12 noon or 1. They'll probably do it around 1 to wait for that daily to come out on that day, but they'll do something on there. For me, and if you're watching this, thank you. But this is me kind of just like talking to myself now at this point. But my schedule for Friday, I have a full-time job because I have less than 150 subscribers to the channel, so I'm not making any money off this channel. So I do have a full-time job. I'm going to be at that job until about 4:30 on Friday, and then the pick up the kids and everything on that Friday and have dinner and whatnot, and then we're gonna go see Mario Friday night. So by the time we get home from that movie, put the kids to bed, and I can actually then pay attention to what happened throughout the day, I'm going to be tired. I'm probably not going to want to film a video, so I might get up early on Saturday, and I might get everything prepped Friday night, but I may film it, actually, and film it and edit it and put it out on Saturday. If not, I'm not. It's going to be 2:00 in the morning. But yeah, that's going to be probably the plan for Friday. That's how it's going to go. But anyway, you guys don't care about that. So yeah, so let's go ahead. Oh, it went to $6.99. So yeah, there's a chance they might hit this by the end of the night or by midnight. If they hit it by midnight, I'll put some kind of disclaimer in the video right here, if I remember to do it. If not, then it'll be on the next video that we do when we do, because if it's Friday, we'll do a day 2 and 3 roundup at that point. But I'm gonna stop rambling at this point. So that is everything at this point that has been announced for Zombicide White Death. I'm excited to go ahead and back this game. I haven't backed it yet, but I do plan on backing it at some point. Trying to figure out funds for it. Probably pledge $1 to at least get into the Pledge Manager. I'm looking forward to integrating some of it with the Black Plague game that I just got, and there is an unboxing coming out soon for that. I've filmed it. I haven't put it out yet. But it's gonna be interesting to combine this with the other games in the series. I'm kind of hoping, all honesty, since the first 2 stretch goals were updated card packs, I'm kind of hoping that they're going to, because it's been a decade since the first game almost, and it'll be 9 years by the time this all comes out, close to 10 years by the time this all comes out, more 9. But I'm kind of hoping that they pull a Marvel United and they give us the option to buy the stretch goal boxes. I don't know how much those come out for in the secondary market, but it'd be interesting for people who, I mean, because they haven't done a fantasy game in 6 years almost, so it'd be because it was 2000, what was it, May 2017 when the Green Horde came out. For Kickstarter, it was June of 2015 when Black Plague came out on Kickstarter. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they decide to do that, especially because they're going to have those card packs for mixing that old content in there. Again, if you're only putting out one Abomination at a time, especially if it's kind of like the Green Horde, especially if it's like the deck from the Zombie Spawn cards from was Undead or Alive, where it says if there's no Abomination, spawn an Abomination. If there is an Abomination, do an extra activation. So you're only going to have one on the board at a time. Yes, even though you're going to be using the same model if you only have the base game with the stretch goals, you just still have all the stretch goal characters, but it's still going to be cool to be basically just use a card and just use the one Abomination or whatever Abomination you have as a proxy kind of thing, if that's the way that it works. So but yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they do that, but that's the only other predictive thing or speculative thing I got. But let me know what you guys think of this campaign so far down below. If you're still watching, thank you again. Go ahead and put down what you guys are looking forward to, what your favorite Abomination so far announced is, your favorite Survivor announced so far is, whether or not you're going to be back in this game, what you do like about it, what you don't like about it. Go ahead, please put all that stuff down in the comments below. And yeah, if you guys, like I said, just subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to know when I'm going to be putting out another one of these videos, and make sure to like the video. And yeah, that's all I got. So yeah, we'll see. With all that said, we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.